Oh, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, I have stuff and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays. And I just forgot, there's something else I need to put in the notes here. This will be item 2 in our run of show, and that is video quality, frame rate, stuff going on. I want to talk about it a little bit. Some of you have mentioned that the past few videos have looked a little choppy. I'm going to explain why that was. And then we have the vanilla roll cake, don't call it a giveaway. I want to announce the winner of that. We also have a pen review. We'll be talking about that in upcoming videos, but the question that review raised is, can a fountain pen or a pen in general ever be too small? We talk about compact size, carryability, pocketability, but I just got a pen recently. It's here in my hand, and it might almost be too small. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we are going on a little trip. My fiance and I want to announce that, let you know what's going to be happening on the channel. And then, of course, we have your feedback and question, and hashtag askstuffandthings. So let's get going. All right, so first of all, video quality. I'm always tweaking things. I'm always trying to make the videos look as good as possible, and sometimes I find it a bit frustrating. Recently, my fiance Diamond pointed out to me, because when I edit a video, I do it through Premiere Pro, I export the video, and then I don't usually watch it afterwards. I just upload it because I've been watching it as I'm editing it. What I didn't realize is the past few weeks, and someone else also mentioned this in the comments, I'm surprised only one person mentioned this. Over the past few weeks, I've had videos that looked very framey, choppy, like it wasn't as smooth as it should be. And typically I record my videos at 24 frames a second, or whatever it is, 23.789 or whatever it is on the camera, because I like that look. It's a little more cinematic look. A lot of people record at 60 frames a second. I typically do 24, and I have a template set in Adobe Premiere that has my sequence settings at 24 frames, so it matches the input of the footage that I'm putting in there. What I didn't realize is that when I was recording the video for, I think I was talking about guitar picks, and I tried to do a 120 frames a second slow-mo sequence of dropping guitar picks, and it wasn't really working. And then when I switched back to my 24 frames a second, it didn't do that. I accidentally switched it to 60 frames. So I was recording in 60 frames, but then editing and exporting in 24 frames. So basically I was losing about half the frames, and so it made everything look choppy. So hopefully now I'm back to 24 frames, recording and editing and exporting, and if this looks better, let me know. Another thing, my little brother is working on doing a YouTube channel recently, and he showed me kind of a test video that he and his wife had done, and the video looked great. And he just bought the same camera as me. He has a Canon R6, and the video looked better than a lot of the videos I put out. And I found that mildly vexing because I put so much work and research into, recording in the special format using Canon Log 3 to get really high dynamic range, but then color correcting the video and bringing back the contrast and the color and doing all this color grading and everything. And then his looked even better. And I was like, well, what did you record on? And as far as he could tell me, it was just kind of the auto settings on the camera. So today, and maybe today only, I am trying out just recording this with auto ISO, auto white balance, auto everything, and not recording in Canon Log, just using one of the normal color profiles that's in the camera. So I know this might all be kind of inside baseball or too technical and you don't really care, but for me, this is all very fascinating because I've spent a lot of time researching this stuff, and now I just want to compare me not really doing anything, like just using all auto settings, and then compare that to me being very granular with C-Log 3 and choosing the white balance and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. Next, I want to announce the lucky Patreon supporter who is going to receive this mostly unused tin of McFadin vanilla roll cake. I did a review-ish sort of video a couple weeks ago called I'm Not Going to Like This, McFadin vanilla roll cake. And I didn't really like it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It actually has some really good things going for it, but just a little too aromatic for my taste. And so I had a post on my Patreon and asked people to respond to that post. Didn't get that many responses. I don't know, maybe a lot of you didn't think you were gonna like this either, but one of the best ones, and the one that I picked as the one that tickled my fancy the most, was from Aaron H. And Aaron said, you should call it the I can't give it away giveaway. And I thought that was clever because basically on Patreon, you can't have a random drawing, you can't have a giveaway of things where people have a random chance of success, because I understand that it's like they're paying to be on Patreon and then it's as though you're raffling something away, which I guess is technically gambling or illegal or something. And so the only way you could actually do it with the user agreement on Patreon is to have people respond to a post and then have you pick the response that you like the most. We had some other good responses and I really appreciate everyone who did respond, but I liked the short, pithy nature of you should call it the can't give it away giveaway. So Aaron H., I will try to get this in the mail to you as soon as possible, and hopefully you like it a little bit more than I did. All right, so all of you pen people out there, a lot of you who started following my channel because of reviews for things like the Midori Traveler's Notebook, or pens like the Lamy 2000, or the Lamy Safari, or the Pilot Custom 823 fountain pen, the Kaweco Brass Sport fountain pen. I know a lot of you are out there and some of you have been clamoring for a new fountain pen review, and I just reviewed on the channel, it'll be posting this Wednesday, a review of this. The smallest fountain pen I have ever seen. This is the Kaweco Liliput fountain pen. It's weird they spell it Liliput instead of Lilliput, which is the original Jonathan Swift version of it, I think. But anyway, it's the Kaweco Liliput. It is a tiny fountain pen. I have reviewed in the past the Kaweco Classic, and this is the brass version, but you can see how much bigger the Kaweco Classic is, and this is a very tiny, very compact pen. If I post both of them, you have to unscrew and rescrew the Liliput in order to post it. You can see that even now, the length is about the same, but the width of this Kaweco Classic is quite a bit larger than the Liliput. But I wanted a small fountain pen to use with my Midori Traveler's Notebook passport size, and I got one. It's definitely very small. I just don't know, ooh, I'm leaking ink somehow. I just don't know if maybe it's a little too small for me. It works well in the Midori. I can just shove it in there and I can close it up just fine. It makes it nice and compact, doesn't bulge it out too badly. But the thing that I keep forgetting, and I just need to drill this into my head, I have very big hands. They're as big as my head when I put them near my hands. We talked about this, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago when there is a draft prospect in the NFL called Kenny Pickett, and everyone was freaking out that apparently his hands were small. And they were talking about when they measure hands for quarterbacks in the NFL, they measure from the tip of the thumb to the tip of the pinky. And his hand was like 8.5 inches. Mine is nearly 10 inches from here to here, and I guess that's large even for an NFL quarterback, and most of those people are like 6'4" or 6'5". I'm 6'2". So the men in my family have weirdly large hands. Even my dad, who's like 5'9", has hands almost as big as mine. So make of that what you will, but it's a large hand. This is a very small pen. It's almost too small for me. I can't use it at all if I don't have the cap on. Like, it just doesn't work. It's just way too small. With it posted, obviously it's long enough, but it just feels so minuscule in the hand, and this is the aluminum version too, so it's kind of light. There are pens that I have used in the past, I don't use very often anymore, but just like a little disposable Bic like this, it's just about as narrow. It has a little bit of a wider grip section. So I can use a pen this small, but part of the joy of a fountain pen, like probably my favorite, the Lamy 2000, is the feel of it, the heft of it. It feels a little bit more substantial than your typical just, disposable Bic ballpoint. And that's part of what I like about using them. And so I'm not getting the tactile enjoyment out of this pen that I do get out of fountain pens typically, and that's kind of part of the fountain pen experience. And so I'm having to judge, is the small size of this pen and the practicality of it when I'm trying to carry a pen on the go, does that outweigh the fact that I don't get a lot of pleasure out of just holding it in my hand? Because I have pens like this. This is a Zebra, I want to say a 701 or something, but it's the all-metal version. And this has some nice heft to it. It's substantial. It has this nice knurling on the grip there. And even though it's a ballpoint pen, so in a way not as pleasurable as using a fountain pen, it's an object that I like feeling more. I like having it in my hand. I like the heft of it a little bit more. And it fits in here. Like I can actually put it inside my Midori traveler's notebook, clip it to the cover, and it doesn't add very much bulk to the Midori at all. So I don't know. I'm kind of weighing this out. Obviously, this is a problem, quote, problem, that would only affect probably someone with hands as meaty and ridiculous as mine. But I don't know. I'm curious. All you fountain pen people out there, have any of you used the Liliput? I have trouble saying that for some reason. The Liliput? And if so, do you feel like it's too small? Is it possible for a fountain pen to be too small? Let me know. And please look forward to and stay tuned to the full review of the Liliput fountain pen this Wednesday. And now a little announcement. So typically every week on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays, I post, well, lately I've been posting 6 videos a week, which is a lot. We do 4 gameplay videos and 2 videos, 4 gameplay videos on Stuff and Things Plays and 2 videos on Stuff and Things, one on Sunday and one on Wednesday. But this coming week, we are leaving on, let me get my calendar out here. On Thursday, the 21st, my fiance and I are leaving and we're not gonna be back for a week. So we're not gonna be back until the next Thursday. So what that means for you is that there will not be a normal Sunday Stuff and Things. I may try to do just some little smartphone update that I post on this coming Sunday, say hello, let you know what we're up to, but there definitely won't be a Wednesday video on the 27th because I'm just not gonna have time. We're gonna be on the road, we're gonna be traveling. The Stuff and Things Plays videos will still be normal schedule because I've got so many weeks of those already built up in advance. So you'll still have, I think through this coming week, you'll have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday video on Stuff and Things Plays because Elden Ring and Deathloop are still going. After that week, it's just gonna be Elden Ring, so that's gonna be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So yeah. Business as usual on Stuff and Things Plays. On Stuff and Things, no Sunday video next week, or a short kind of truncated update, hello, Sunday video next week, and then no Wednesday video on the 27th. Hopefully you will forgive me for that, but it's just gonna be impossible. I'm not gonna have a weekend at all because I'm gonna be working up until the day we leave, then we're gonna be traveling, and then I'm gonna be back and working the very next day. So I'm just not gonna have the time to do it. But after that, everything will go back to normal. If you're curious, we're actually going to Oklahoma, which is not, and no disrespect, but I don't think it's most people's idea of like a vacation destination, but we're going there because my fiance has a cool opportunity that we are pursuing having to do with her writing, and it's going to be pretty fun. We're going to be going to a place called Stillwater, Oklahoma, which is kind of halfway in between Oklahoma City and Tulsa. And I actually used to live in Tulsa when I was a little kid. And even though, from what my parents said, my parents did not like it very much. I was so small that for me, I basically ran around in tighty-whitey underwear, and that's it. No shoes, no socks. We lived in a apartment complex that was like 50% like weird little white kids like me, 50% black kids, and we all just kind of ran around together, sprayed each other with hoses and squirt guns. Eventually, occasionally took shelter from tornado warnings. I played with bugs. There were like tarantulas. At least in my mind, I think I remember them being tarantulas. They had these little holes, you could tap on them, and then the tarantulas would come out and you grab them. Rattlesnakes, all sorts of good stuff. It was a fun time as a little kid. I could imagine my parents weren't a huge fan because there were cockroaches and all sorts of things all over the place. It was a kind of low-income thing. But anyway, I'm kind of curious to see what Oklahoma is like. I haven't been back there since I was a very small child. And I'm assuming it's going to be hot. I'm assuming it's going to be flat. And don't know much else. So that's going to be interesting. But we will be back. And like I said, maybe I'll do a little update or an Instagram or something while we're gone. But hopefully you will not get too impatient for new content until I'm back or while I'm gone. And then once I'm back, you'll be happy and not angry. Something like that. All right, gang, but now it is time for hashtag #AskStuffandThings. Remember, if you have a question and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at @SATBradley with the hashtag #AskStuffandThings, and I will do my best to answer you on the next Sunday Stuff and Things. Also, if you are a Patreon supporter, you can write to me on there, or you can leave comments on my YouTube videos with questions as well. I try to go through every single comment, even if I can't personally answer every single one. I do read every single one. So first, via Patreon, we have a question from Matt Marino, who says, in regards to the I Don't Think I'll Like This series, how about trying the Fisher Space Pen? It's a ballpoint, I know, but it may surprise you. I know you enjoy your coffee, but is there a brand you enjoy among all others? Perhaps try some other brands or UGG flavored blends. Enjoy your week, Matt. Thank you, Matt, for the question and for being a patron. I own a Fisher Space Pen, and that used to be my main pen. Before I got into the... Where is my Fisher Space Pen? Before I got into the whole fountain pen thing years ago, I guess that would have been, what, like 7 years ago, 8 years ago? My Fisher Space Pen was my main pen. I carried a Moleskine, or Moleskine, notebook with me with a Fisher Space Pen with the gel. It was like the bullet size with the gel tip, and that's what I used all the time. I still really like those pens. I think they're really great. But yeah, I kind of stopped using it once I started getting into fountain pens. But yeah, they're still really great pens. And then coffee, I used to drink a locally roasted coffee called Lotus coffee, but then that it's not really very available. I could only get it in a bagel shop. A local bagel shop had 1 pound bags, and then they closed down their dining room. So they're not open anymore for diners because of all the COVID nonsense, and they haven't reopened it up. You can only get takeout or to-go orders from them, and so I couldn't go in there and buy my bag of coffee because I used to go in there every weekend. So now I'm getting coffee called Stumptown, which is, you know, fancy hipster coffee. I think it's made in Portland, but I can get it at my local grocery store. So I get unground beans, the Stumptown French roast, because a lot of their stuff is a little bit too weak for me. It's very lightly roasted, which a lot of hipsters like. They like the beans that are almost green and that taste like grass when you drink it. I like something a little darker that actually tastes like coffee, so I use the Stumptown French roast. It's good. Okay, Sean Rees. This is also via Patreon. Hi, Bradley. I was curious, what is in your current rotation and how often do you change teas within your rotation? For instance, do you use more than one blend in a given day or do you stick with one blend? Like you, I find Elizabethan to be a welcome friend. It is very satisfying and has many nuanced flavors to work out. I'm still trying to figure out why Dunhill named it Elizabethan. Also, the picture has a complex yet understated drawing of the ship and various tools of the age. In its upper right corner is a window, which also baffles me. It stands by itself and has what looks to be circles on some of the panes. Any ideas what that is? Elizabethan has so much for the discerning P.S.er to figure out. Interesting, very interesting. So as far as rotation goes, if I'm reviewing something, that will be in my rotation. That'll typically be the blend that I have in the morning with my coffee. before work. Let me grab, I brought the tin, but I forgot to get it on the table here. I have a tin of Elizabethan. This is Peterson Elizabethan Mixture. We will cover up the PT on there. But if you guys take a look at that, that is the tin art. It's basically the same tin art that they had when it was Dunhill. And on it, I always took this to be a model of a clipper ship, and then a window, and then there's kind of a long clay pipe there and a journal. I always took that to be, yeah, like I said, a model sitting on a desk, and then there's a window, and it's one of those kind of old-fashioned leaded glass windows, so that's why you have sort of that circular look to the panes of glass. I don't know why they picked that as the picture for Elizabethan Mixture, other than maybe the era of the model ship seems to be from that era, from Elizabethan times, not from like, you know, Napoleonic era. So yeah, it's interesting though. I've never really looked at it that closely. Maybe I should do a video on tin art sometime. But yeah, thanks for the question, Sean Rees. Next, we have some feedback via YouTube. This is for last week's Sunday Stuff and Things, and Cheesy Bacon has a couple things to say. First of all, I hear you on the ghosting and generally agree. So I mentioned that I didn't really think that ghosting was that big of an issue. Speaking of ghosting pipes or peas, as we usually euphemize it to, except for lakelands. Lakelands really are a different animal altogether in terms of their ghosting ability. Some G&H Ennerdale, perhaps for a future probably not going to like this video, and see how that treats your pee. And he also says, one suggestion for future videos of this type. If you're intending to continue this series, try going into your evaluation, remembering that the object of some of these flavored blends is to not taste the tea at all. Only getting a whiff of burley and not tasting any Virginias at all is often a feature, not a bug, for blends of this type. So perhaps instead of dwelling on what you can't taste, focus more on what you can. I don't know why I can't read today. The casing topping, does it get better or worse as the S continues? Is it natural tasting, artificial tasting, or a total lousy analog for whatever flavor it was going for? You might have to resign yourself to the fact that an evaluation of actual tea flavor cannot be a consideration for some of these blends. Lastly, videos about blends of this type might be a good opportunity to get the woman's input in regards to room note, as these aromatics are often designed with non-essers in mind. I take your point, but I guess that's the point as well, is I don't think I'm going to like these blends because I don't like the fact that I can't taste the tea, and that's what I don't like about aromatic blends. So even if I were to try to focus more on the flavors that you're mentioning, the casings and the toppings, I'll still probably be irritated because it's like, what is it like? I hate pizza with pineapple on it. I don't mind pineapple by itself, but I don't like pineapple combined with pizza. I just don't like the flavor of it, and I don't like how it contaminates everything else. So even if you pick the pineapple off the pizza, the cheese still tastes like pineapple. If there's Canadian bacon on there, it still tastes like pineapple. So someone who likes Hawaiian-style pineapple pizza might say, well, you're missing the point. The whole point is that it's supposed to taste like that pineapple. It's supposed to contaminate everything else in the pizza. But if I were to try to review pineapple pizza, I wouldn't be able to get past the fact that I couldn't taste the unadulterated cheese or the tomato sauce or the Canadian bacon, and that the pineapple was permeating everything. That's kind of the same with these aromatic blends. I know that maybe the point is the flavor, the added flavoring, but I don't like that added flavoring, so it kind of ruins the whole experience. Interesting points there. Cheesy Bacon, thank you very much. Sean Rees, a new patron, who also asked us a question at the top of this, says, the topping promotes self-harm to the tongue as well. While watching you that Danish, I was reminded that filter peas soften the blow. Man, this must sound so weird to someone who doesn't know what we're talking about. Soften the blows the aromatics impart to the mouth. I don't think you own a filter pipe, but if you ever get one, it might be worth using for this series. That's a good point, and I know a lot of people in places like Scandinavia and Denmark often use filter peas, so that is a good point. Next, from Ari Goldberg. This might be a pain in the arse for you, but maybe a live Sunday Stuff and Things would be good so that we can do things like super chats. So mentioning whether or not people would be into a subscription thing or a subscription option on YouTube. Also, you could do something whereby, with a super chat or similar, we can enter a blend into a poll or drawing for you to review. So like 10 people recommend a blend with a $5 donation or some such, and then everyone can vote on which one they want to see. Just some ideas. I think for some people, the notion of a subscription model doesn't appeal, but a one-time donation is something they'd really want to do to contribute to the channel. Thanks for the suggestions, Ari. And I have done a couple live streams for the Sunday videos, and it was fun and it was cool, and I would like to do those again. I just don't know that I could do those on a regular basis, but we'll try to do another one eventually, because it was very fun. MTL Piper. Hey Bradley, thanks for the update on the vanilla roll cake. Freshly opened, it's a fairly plain Jane smoke, so not terribly surprised that you aren't enjoying it. I'm sure others have commented already, but it does get a good deal better after a few years in the jar. If you have that kind of patience, I'm guessing it'll be given away. Yes, Aaron H is getting it. The tin smells nice, but yes, it's not my favorite curly coin from McFadin. I usually enjoy McFadin's Stockton, Dark Twist, and I can't make that out. My printer screwed up there. Something d'Oro, made by McFadin, but under the one of the Savinelli blends. So it's probably Doblone or whatever that is. Quite a bit more. They aren't arrows and also noticeably benefit from age, which seems to be common across most MB blends, heavy on the Virginia. Yeah, a lot of McFadin blends with Virginia can be a little harsh when they're fresh. I definitely prefer the treatment on the G&H Spun Rolls Twists as well as the Oomph Be Well Sir. Thank you for that, MTL Piper. Now from Jorg Westerhoff, which is a great name because I love the game Grindstone, and my fiance especially loves the game Grindstone, and the protagonist there is a muscle-bound man named Jorg. Jorg says, "Hi Bradley, I'm with you on the ghosting of pipes. Most teas don't ghost a pipe. However, there are some exceptions, like a hefty cherry tea, S&G's Black Cherry comes to mind, or a very pronounced Lakeland like S&G's Cannon Plug. A tea I keep in double plastic and in a tin to stop it contaminating my cellar. Other ghosts are gone after 2 bowlfuls of something else." Yeah, I'm sure there are some blends that are super gloopy and syrupy that could ghost, but again, I think if you have 1 bowl in a pipe, maybe 5 or 6 more bowls in that same pipe with normal blends or non-aromatic blends will probably get rid of it. Next, from Shinlan Gan. Hello Bradley, as you have played so many FromSoft games, can you discuss why Elden Ring would be your game of a lifetime? How is it more superior than other games? I am playing Dark Souls 3 right now and am binging along with your playthrough. Good stuff. Thanks, Shinlan Gan. I don't know if I could say it's the game of a lifetime yet. I am really enjoying it. I actually have not had as much time to play it lately and record videos, which is kind of bumming me out because I really would like to play it, but I can't really play it unless I'm recording, and I can't always record. But it is fantastic. I absolutely love it so far. I'm gonna have to wait till I finish it in order to be able to say, and maybe take some time, get some distance from it before I can say that yes, it's definitely a game of a lifetime. But it is absolutely fantastic. And as far as what I think makes it fantastic, it has the amazing precision, well, kind of a combination between precision mechanics and also, it's hard to explain, but FromSoft games, there are hitboxes, there are invincibility frames, there are all these things that go into making them feel a certain way. So the combat mechanics, personally, and I know not everyone would feel this way, they just hit at the perfect spot for me. I love everything about the combat mechanics, and then when you combine that with the art direction and world building of FromSoft that is always so good and so weird and creepy, also often very beautiful, and then this open nature where you can just go anywhere and do whatever you want and just go down all these little rabbit holes of exploration. It's amazing. I just love it. So once the series is over, which will probably be a very long time from now, maybe I'll do kind of a retrospective on what I like about From games and why I like that game in particular. Finally, from M. Curcio about the Midori Passport 6-year update. They say, not to be mean or sounding dumb, but wouldn't a smartphone take the place of something like this? And by this, he means the Midori Passport. Phones now have notepad features that I'd preferably use over having to carry, then take out something like this just to write something down. Yeah, I think for a lot of people that's the case. I find it much quicker to write with a pen than I do to get my phone out, get into my Notepad app, and then write something in my Notepad app. And then also, I don't know what it is, but everything just gets kind of lost in a sea of electronic jumble inside my phone. Like if I use my, what is it called? Like the memo thing, the voice recorder. If I have a song idea or something, I'll hum it or I'll play something on guitar. And then I forget that it's there, and months later I'll look through and find all these voice recordings, and I listen through and I'm like, oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about that. Whereas if I have something like this, if I open it up, I see it all there. I see the things that I have written. And then there's also just that tactile quality. It's the difference between, it's kind of why we like pipes, I guess, is because it is something within the physical world that gives you pleasure because it is tactile. There's ritual involved. You open up a nice leather cover, you turn the pages, you can see the things that you've written before, and you can use a real physical pen to write down. There's just something that I don't think will ever replace that. Maybe it's not the most convenient or the most practical thing in the world, but I just like the experience of actually physically writing something down. And I think a lot of people do. All right, gang, thanks for all the feedback. But before we go, it's time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Remember, if you would like to support the channels on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below, and it is much appreciated. It really helps a lot. This fancy camera that is filming this video now, and hopefully looking good. These lights that are shining upon me, blends for review, other products like this. I mean, I didn't really pay for it with Patreon money. I paid for it with my own money, but in theory, it could purchase things that I could review on the channels. And every week, we like to thank the people who support the channels at $25 or more a month. People like Kirk Crompton, Private Eye, Glenn, Jason Buckner, Gloria Phillips, Matt Marino, MDoftheNorth, and David Gaudreau. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month. People like Peter Straub, award-winning author and good friend, Bob Magee, stolid and dependable, and of course, Ashes of the Phoenix, rising from the ashes to carry this show on his shoulders. Gang, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking and all that good stuff. Please stay tuned for a review of the tiniest fountain pen in existence in human history, the Kaweco Liliput fountain pen. That will be coming up this Wednesday. Monday and Friday, Elden Ring next week. Wednesday, Saturday, the final 2 episodes of Deathloop, so please be sure to check those out. Next Sunday, we will not have a full Sunday video, but I'll try to do a little update because I'm going to be gone. Kind of vacation, kind of a working holiday. So, gang, lots of stuff to watch, lots of stuff to enjoy. Thank you so much, and until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later. I just talked a lot. A lot.